Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the morning coffee break. My name's Kathy, and today we are going to finish making our Jewelweed Salve. Now, yesterday we cut up all the jewelweed. I showed you where to find it, how to identify it, cut it all up, got it in the pots, and let it cook. Now, my plans were to just let it cook for about 6 hours and shut it off. Unfortunately, I sat down to watch a movie and fell asleep, and it cooked for at least 2 hours longer than I intended for it to, which is fine. It could have cooked all night and it would have been fine. But I did get up and put the top on them. So let me show you what you got left. This is what the jewelweed looks like after it's cooked up. Sorry, I dropped it in the sink. And they've set, it's actually late morning, so it's set for 12-14 hours now. So it should be well infused. Let me put this in the sink without making too much of a racket. So it should be well infused now, and it's time to pull the plant material out of the cookers. Now this can be rather time consuming and a messy job. I find that one of these little strainer things works pretty well, and then I'm just going to let it drip. Take my time, let the oil drip off of it as I pull it out. And I'll put this in another pan. I've got an old wash pan over here. This will go in the compost. It's not going to be any problems with getting rid of the material. And what we will have left is our oil. So let me do that, pull that all out of there, and then we'll come back and start putting everything together. Okay, I got most of the plant material out of this one container. Now I'm going to strain it. It took a minute to put the camera up on the tripod, so I didn't have to try to hold it and do this too. Now, a lot of people use cheesecloth. I prefer just to use an old t-shirt. I've wet it, set it down, and I've actually sanitized it, and pushed it down into the jar. This jar is not going to hold everything that I have in that container, but it'll give you an idea of what we're looking at here. So, all I'm going to do, hopefully, without spilling it, okay, so far so good. I'm going to let that seep through. I'm going to do the rest, or at least as much of this container as I can. Strain it through, and as you will see, this is what we are left with. This, let me turn this around. This is what goes in our Jewelweed Salve. Your infused oil with the jewelweed plant. So, let me get the rest of it strained off, and we'll take a step from there. Okay guys, here's what I've got. I still haven't emptied that one pot, but I've got already a gallon of jewelweed oil, plus I've got a cup and a half in here. This is going to be the most expensive part of making the jewelweed. I've got 10 pounds here, and I bought plenty because I knew I was going to be making more than what I've got today. This is 10 pounds of beeswax and your coconut oil. Now this one container of coconut oil was $12 or $13. You're going to use a half a cup at a time to pour full of these jars. So I'll give you more information on my recipe, but these are all the things you're going to use. Jewelweed salve, beeswax, coconut oil. Be right back. Okay guys, in my double broiler, I've already cooked off one little batch. In my double broiler I've got some jewelweed oil warming up, and to that mixture I'm going to add 1 cup and 1/8 of the beeswax beads. Now I bought these online. You can buy them in several different sizes. I went for a 10-pound bag simply because I'm going to be making so much of this. Now it takes this beeswax a little while to melt, so just be patient, it'll do it. And when you finish this much of the recipe, you should have enough to fill 6 4-ounce jars. Now once that's in there, I want a cup or a half cup of coconut oil. That's 4 ounces. Alright, that goes into the pot. Alright, we wait for that to melt. Wash my hands off a little bit. While it's melting, I'm going to add some essential oil. The last time I used eucalyptus, it smelled a little medicine-y. So this time, I'm going to put in a little frankincense. Just because I didn't know what it smelled like and I wanted to try it out. So I'm going to put about 12 drops in there. That's an interesting scent. Okay, we're going to let that melt, then we'll pour the jars full. I'll show you what some of them look like that are getting cool at the moment, and we'll be back. Just a quick hint about heating this mixture up when you're melting your coconut oil and your beeswax in with the infused jewelweed oil. If you don't, the easiest way to tell if you have the water in your pot warm enough is at the top. If it's not hot enough, the beeswax that's floating on top will never melt. You've got to turn the heat up just enough to get that beeswax on top to melt. See how that's kind of sticking to the top? And there's some that'll stick to the spoon. It's not melted yet. These little beads are much easier to melt than the big cakes that I used to use. I'd have to shave them off to get them to eventually melt down enough for me to use them. These are much easier. You can buy bigger quantities and just have them shipped to your house. But you've got to get the water up to temperature to get it to melt correctly. Alright, next step, we're going to put some in the jars. Okay, we've got to do this quickly because this starts to cool really fast. I should have enough in here with that recipe to fill 6 of these jars. They are 4-ounce jars. May have a little left over, don't know. And I'm not going to have enough. That's okay. I can add to this one later, that I'll let these cool. Now, these are getting cool. They're almost to room temperature. But the way it will cool should be something like this. And the way you're going to want to use the salve, if you got poison ivy, bug bite, whatever, just rub it on. And that's the extent of it. Now, if you catch poison ivy at the point where it's just starting to break out, all of that, put some of this on a couple times a day. The next day, it's gone. You may still have some evidence of where it was, but it'll be dried up and not itchy and will go away on its own in a couple of days. I've seen miraculous things happen if you catch the poison ivy early enough. Now, if it's been on there a couple of days, this works really well to keep the itch down, but it's not going to dry it up as quickly as it would if you just start catching the bumps coming up. Bug bites and that kind of thing, it'll kill the itch instantly. Give it 30 seconds or maybe a little more and the itch is gone. It may come back in 3 or 4 hours. Put a little more on and you're good to go. So this is the way we make jewelweed, guys. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your interest. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments down below. And please remember to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and you'll be notified anytime I make a new video. There's no telling what we're going to do. Today we're making jewelweed salve. Tomorrow we may be working in cement. The day after that I may be working, I'm going to build a cob doghouse for my dogs while I'm on vacation. I'm at least going to start it. So there's going to be a lot of different things coming and going. This winter we'll be working more with paints and pencils and that kind of thing because it's and clay, because it's too cold to be outside doing these other things. So once again, thank you for joining me. Thank you for your interest. Please hit the subscribe button and I'll see you again soon.